craziest record-breaking moments on wheels. Guinness World Records. Opening. Music rise. Imagine standing at the top of a ramp, staring down at a drop so steep that one tiny mistake could end your entire run. Now imagine putting wheels underneath you, and then deciding to go faster. Not a little faster. Faster than anyone in history. From skateboards flying through the air to bicycles performing impossible-looking stunts. From roller skates moving at unbelievable speeds to vehicles pushing the limits of human control. Today we're entering a world where wheels aren't just transportation. They're instruments of courage, precision, and absolute madness. These are some of the craziest record-breaking moments ever captured on wheels. And the wildest part? Some of these records were created in just a few seconds. But behind those few seconds were years of practice, thousands of attempts, and moments when everything had to go perfectly, so buckle up, because this is going to be one unbelievable ride. Music cuts. The boy who turned a skateboard into a life. Music, emotional, upbeat. My name is Guri. That simple introduction hides a story that begins much earlier than the record itself. Guri started skating when he was only about 4 years old. He didn't begin with a giant audience. He didn't begin with cameras everywhere. He started because his dad took him to a YMCA camp. And that camp changed everything. It became the place where he learned the fundamentals, practiced tricks, fell down, got back up, and slowly discovered something important. He loved being on 4 wheels. At that age, a skateboard is just a piece of wood with wheels. But for someone determined enough, it can become something completely different, a challenge, a playground, a way to express yourself, and, eventually, a path toward records. Guri's story represents something that appears again and again in the world of record breakers. The record doesn't usually begin on the day the record is broken. It begins years earlier, with one small decision, one first attempt, one kid saying, "I want to see what I can do." And that brings us to the first major lesson of today's journey. The people who break records aren't necessarily the people who never fall. They're often the people who are willing to keep learning after they do. When a skateboard becomes a fleeing machine, music intensifies. Now picture a massive ramp. At the top is a skateboarder. Below is a landing area. Between the two, a terrifying amount of empty space. The skateboarder pushes off 1 second, 2 seconds, then the board launches into the air. Suddenly, gravity takes over. For a brief moment, the athlete is no longer simply riding a skateboard. They're flying. And this is where record-breaking skateboarding becomes something completely different. At the highest level, a trick isn't simply about jumping. It's about controlling rotation, knowing exactly where the board is, knowing where your body is, knowing how quickly you're moving, and, most importantly, knowing when to stop rotating and prepare for the landing. Because the audience sees one spectacular moment, the athlete sees thousands of tiny decisions happening at once. Spotty position, balance, speed, timing, landing angle. Everything has to come together, and when it does, the result can look almost impossible. Ask sound effect. Crowd cheers. The skateboard touches down, the crowd explodes, the athlete rolls away. And somewhere, a new number has just been written into the record books. The bicycle that defied gravity. Music. Fast ride. If you think skateboards are impressive, wait until you see what people can do with bicycles. A bicycle normally has one simple purpose: move forward, but record-breaking riders have turned bicycles into machines capable of jumps, spins, balance challenges, distance records, and incredible feats of control. Think about balancing on 2 wheels, now remove the safety net, now add speed, now add obstacles, and finally, add thousands of people watching. That's when concentration becomes everything. A rider can spend years learning how to control a bicycle with movements so small that an ordinary person wouldn't even notice them. A tiny shift of the hips, a slight movement of the handlebars, a controlled adjustment of the pedals. To the audience, it looks effortless. But behind the scenes, it's precision. And, sometimes, the most impressive records aren't about going the fastest. They're about staying in control when everything around you is trying to take that control away. The speed of pure courage. Now let's talk about speed, because when wheels start moving fast enough, the world begins to look different. The road becomes a blur, the wind becomes a force, and every second becomes more important. Imagine traveling at an extreme speed while standing on a small platform with wheels beneath your feet. There is no room for hesitation. You can't simply press a brake and expect everything to stop instantly. Momentum doesn't care about fear. Sankings doesn't care about nerves. And that's what makes speed records so fascinating. The athlete has to understand the machine beneath them. They have to understand the surface. They have to understand their own body. And they have to make decisions before problems appear. Because at extreme speed, reacting too late can be the difference between a perfect run and a failed one. That's why record-breaking speed isn't just about bravery, it's about preparation. The roller skate records that look impossible. Music. Retro beat. Roller skating might look playful. For many people, it brings memories of skating rinks, music, friends, and weekends spent trying not to fall. But competitive roller skaters see something completely different. They see a platform for precision, a place where balance and speed can be pushed further. Imagine moving across a surface while maintaining control on tiny wheels. Now imagine performing complex movements without losing your balance. The wheels are constantly moving. Your center of gravity is constantly changing, and your brain is continuously calculating what happens next. The best skaters don't simply react, they anticipate. They know where their weight needs to be before the movement even begins. That's why watching an elite roller skater can feel almost like watching someone manipulate gravity. One moment they're moving forward, the next, they're spinning, then they're changing direction, and somehow, they remain upright. Sound effect, wheels rolling. It looks effortless, but effort is hidden everywhere. The most unexpected vesicles. Asterisk music shakes, playful. Here's where the world of record breaking gets even stranger, because Guinness World Records isn't only about traditional bicycles, skateboards, and roller skates. People have created machines with wheels that seem like they belong in a science fiction movie. Tiny vehicles, huge vehicles, unusual bicycles, modified machines. Vehicles designed specifically for one incredible purpose. And that's one of the things that makes record-breaking history so entertaining. Someone looks at an ordinary object and asks, what if we made it completely different? That question has produced some truly bizarre creations. A bicycle doesn't have to look like the bicycle you ride to school. A skateboard doesn't have to remain close to the ground. A wheeled vehicle doesn't have to have 4 wheels. And once imagination enters the equation, the possibilities become enormous. The human side of every record. Music. Emotional. But behind every crazy record is something we don't always see. The failed attempts, the boring training sessions, the injuries that require time away, the equipment that doesn't work, the days when motivation disappears, the moments when someone asks, why are you still doing this? Record breaking can look glamorous when you watch the final video, but the final video might only last 20 seconds, the journey can last years. That's the part that deserves attention. Imagine practicing the same movement again and again. Not 10 times, not 50 times, hundreds, maybe thousands. And every time, you're searching for that tiny improvement. A little more control, a little more speed, a cleaner landing, a better reaction, a stronger technique. Eventually, those tiny improvements add up. And one day, you don't just perform the trick, you perform it better than anyone has done before. That's when a hobby becomes history. When the crowd goes silent.
Music fads.
There is a special moment before a record-breaking attempt. The crowd becomes quiet. The athlete is ready, the wheels are positioned, the cameras are rolling, and suddenly, everything feels slower. The athlete looks ahead, takes a breath, and starts moving. The wheels begin to spin. Faster. 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 The crowd watches. Nobody knows what will happen. Then comes the critical moment, the jump, the turn, the acceleration, the landing. And for just a few seconds, the entire world seems to stop. Then, music explodes. The athlete completes the attempt, the crowd erupts, the cameras capture the celebration. And the record is official. That moment is why people chase these achievements. Not simply because of a number, but because they wanted to discover whether something they imagined was actually possible. The secret behind record. Breaking wheels. Here's something fascinating. The secret usually isn't one incredible ability. It's a combination of several: balance, timing, strength, coordination, confidence, and perhaps the most important one, patience. Because wheels are unforgiving. If your balance is wrong, they expose it. If your timing is wrong, they expose it. If your technique is wrong, they expose it. There is nowhere to hide. That's why athletes spend so much time repeating basic movements. The spectacular tricks are built on boring fundamentals. The giant jump begins with learning how to land. The incredible speed begins with learning how to control the machine. The record begins with the basics. The moment everything comes together. Music builds slowly. Let's return to that young skater, 4 years old, a YMCA camp, a skateboard. At that moment, there was no guarantee of anything. No guarantee of records, no guarantee of fame, no guarantee that skating would become a lifelong passion. There was simply curiosity, and that's where almost every extraordinary journey begins. You try something, you enjoy it, you become curious, you practice, you fail, you learn, you try again, and eventually, you might find yourself standing somewhere you never expected to reach. That's the true story behind many of the world's craziest records. Not the number, not the trophy, not the applause. The journey. The craziest thing about records. Music. Cinematic. Here's the strange thing about Guinness World Records. Every record creates another challenge. Once someone sets a record, someone else can look at it and think, asterisk, I can go further. That's how progress happens. One person pushes the boundary, another person studies it, another person trains, then someone arrives and pushes it again. The limit keeps moving, and that's why today's impossible achievement can become tomorrow's starting point. Think about that. The record isn't necessarily the end. Sometimes, it's the beginning of the next challenge. Final ride. Asterisk music rise to climax. From the first push of a skateboard, to the scream of wheels racing across the ground, to bicycles flying through the air, to roller skaters balancing with unbelievable precision. These moments remind us that human creativity has almost no limits. A wheel may be a simple invention, but put the right person on it. Give them enough determination, and suddenly, that simple wheel becomes the beginning of something extraordinary. The athletes we've talked about today didn't simply ride. They experimented, they trained, they failed, they improved. And eventually, they reached moments that millions of people could only watch in amazement. So the next time you see someone riding a skateboard down the street, or a cyclist speeding past, or someone skating at a local rink, remember this: you might be looking at an ordinary wheel, but extraordinary people have proven that there is nothing ordinary about what can be done with it. Awesome. Because records aren't created by asking, possible. They're created by asking, what happens if I try? And sometimes, that one question can change the record books forever. Music swells. This was Asterisk's craziest record-breaking moments on wheels. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to stay with us for more unbelievable Guinness World Records, incredible human achievements, and moments that seem impossible, until someone proves they aren't. Music Faz.